was in my head and in my mirror. Don't get upset, tell me what I missed. I'll be right with you when I'm done with this. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal. I can give it up, I can give it up. I was just told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up. I could give it, I could give it up. I could give it.
Check, check, check.
Did you hear the news? Did you see that link? Oh yeah, I heard that too. So glad we all agree. We don't need to hang out anymore. We stay caught up all the time. It's so much better than before. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal.
Okay, there I am. Okay, cool.
I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up, I can.
How's this? Can you hear me now? Hey, it's me.
Can't think straight. Gotta check, I can't look away. I should give it.
I just set it to mono. There's a bit of latency. Maybe it'll kick in a second.
I should give it. I should give it up. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal. I can give it up. I can give it up. I was just on my phone. Told you
Alright, we got
that I'm in control. I can do this alone. I can give it up. 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 I could give it up. I could give it. I was just on my phone. Told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone.
Alright, we got a few people here. Nyan and Timeglass. How y'all doing today? I'm gonna play this video one more time. I think I got the audio set up. I'm gonna set up a second screen so I can keep the chat and all the streaming stuff over there, and just give people a second to come in. So I'll just set that up, play this video one more time, and then I'll get into it.
What was that you said? I didn't hear it. I was in my head and in my mirror. Don't get upset, tell me what I missed. I'll be right with you when I'm done with this. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal. I can give it up, I can give it up. I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up. I could give it, I could give it up. I could give it. Did you hear the news? Did you see that link? Oh yeah, I heard that too. So glad we all agree. We don't need to hang out anymore. We stay caught up all the time. It's so much better than before. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just update. Gotta check, I can't look away. I should give it up. Need an update. Gotta check, I should give it up. I should give it up. I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal. I can give it up, I can give it up. I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up. I should give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up, I could give it up, I could give it. I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone.
Okay, so that's it. That's the new video. You may have seen it. If you're here, you've probably seen it. Hopefully, I've been hawking this thing a lot lately. So the idea with the stream today, and I've got the chat over here on a second screen now, so I can see what everyone's saying. I'll check that periodically. But the idea today is just to spend maybe 20 to 40 minutes, however long it takes, to go through the song. I've got the stems here in Logic, and I've got the video open. We're going to go through the song. We're going to go through the video, and I'm basically just going to break down what happens in both. From a songwriting standpoint and a production standpoint, anything that comes up, that's going to be a little off the cuff. I meant to do this right after like midnight that first night, like 2 Fridays ago when the song first came out. I meant to do this right after, and I had it set up so that there was like a second live stream after the premiere, but then YouTube was confusing and the link was hard to find and stuff. So I'm just going to do that now. I've just been waiting for an opportunity to do this again. So I'm going to go through the song, go through the video, talk about all the little Easter eggs and all the little ideas that went into crafting this thing. And yeah, I'm taking any questions. I'm going to be checking the chat over here, but that's kind of the idea. I'm just going to check the chat real quick and then I'll get into the song. Edward Normalhands. So basically one day I saw Edward Normalhands as 5 times in a day. I clicked and then saw no way the channel. The next day I saw the ad 10 times. Damn, you saw my ad 15 times? That's a lot. It's very targeted towards people who I think will like it. Well, Time Glass, if you got to go now, that's cool. This is going to live on YouTube. So if you missed the stream, you can always come back and watch it later. The whole thing's going to live there. It's 6:09 now, and I started at 6:10 now, so I started at 6. So just basically skip the first 10 minutes, and you'll get right into it. And if you're sub now, you should see that. Cool. So there's a few people here. I've been talking to Nyan and Time Glass in the chat here. If you're here, say hello in the chat. Ask any questions as I go. Some questions I may leave to the end, but let me know you're here. I'm just going to get right into it. So here's the song. This is the stems. I've got it broken up into sort of macro groups. I made this on an old laptop, so I do not have that available. Like, there's no way I could live stream off that laptop. It's like a 2012. It's crashed, and I've had it basically rebuilt 2 times. So that thing is very much on its last leg. So I just imported stems here. For our purposes, we've got 3 vocal stems, 2 leads, chord, bass, and 2 drum stems. So let's start listening through it, and I'll break stuff down as we go. Okay, so right off the top, I probably should have set this to the tempo. This is going to be a little bit harder because of this. What is it, 115, I think? No, that's not it. Well, I forget what tempo it is. That's fine. Right off the top here, we have, I think it's this one? Yeah. Sort of the main synth lead. I'm going to turn up the audio coming out of Logic a little. We've got sort of the main synth lead part. This is the Millennial Whoop, which is a melody. I'll just open an instance of massive here so I can play around with that. The millennial whoop is a melody that has become very common just through use. Da, da, da. Oh, we're solid. Keyboard's not working. Will this one work? So if we're in A, I thought this was in D. We're in A. 1, 3, 5 in A. I'm playing this on my keyboard, on my computer keyboard. The millennial whoop is the 5 and 3. I got a YouTube video. Oh, where's my YouTube video? The millennial whoop. Here's an example. Someone put together a bunch of millennial whoops from all over the place. Anyway, you get the idea. The third and fifth make this melody that has been so overused in the last decade or more that it's got a name now. It's called the millennial whoop, and that takes place in this song intentionally. Solo that again. You can hear it. Stupid keyboard. Stupid. Right? Millennial whoop. So going into this song, I was like, let's make this addictive. Let's make let's use the little pop tricks, all the little tricks that science has made available to make this song like intentionally catchy. Even if it doesn't necessarily come across as like, oh, what a catchy song, which that's completely up to you. The idea was to intentionally use tricks that are like, here's how you make a pop song catchy. You know what I'm saying? So millennial whoop was like, I've read articles about it. There's videos about it. Like, I think there's one of those Vox breakdowns about it. So this is like a trick. This is like an established pop writing thing. And this is like one of those silver bullets that pop writers use. And so that's the sort of thing that, to me, in pop song writing parallels tech. You know how they're like constantly like, how do we make this more addictive? Like, what if we tried making the notification red? Or what if we, have you scrolling down on this thing and sometimes you get a notification, sometimes you don't. So it's like a slot machine. Like, they intentionally try to make phones addictive. And because it's a song about being on my phone all the time, I wanted to parallel the way that tech is meant to be addictive and the way it's designed to be addictive with the way that songwriting is meant to do the same thing. Let's keep listening. This is going to be such an irritating listening experience. Leads. Double with a xylophone because, of course, right? Xylophone and marimba and kalimba, that sort of like percussive wooden instrument thing has been so used since the 80s as like corporate sound and ringtone. And that's very much what I was thinking, is this is like sort of ringtone-y. It's still musical because I'm making a song and I want the song to stand on its own, but the idea was to go for ringtone. Just checking the chat. So anyway, the idea was to go for ringtone there, specifically with the millennial whoop. Cool, and also the bass line comes in there. Bass line continues throughout pretty much the entire song, except for two instances, or a few instances. There's the bridge over here where it changes up. solo, solo, solo. It comes out of that. So it changes up and becomes syncopated there, and then obviously there's no bass at the very beginning just because I wanted to save it for this moment. It gives some more weight to that. It drops out for a break here.
I could give it.
And then again at the end it's gone.
I could give it up.
So the deal with the bass line is this very insistent eighth note thing. Like all the time this is happening, and it's meant to be sort of an anchor for the song. Like even more than the vocals, you can see the vocal parts up here. These three channels are the vocal parts. So they kind of happen and don't happen, and there's lots of spaces between them, where the bass line is very much always happening when it's happening. And of course it gets a little bigger. So the idea here, towards the end of making this song feel like phone addiction, which was kind of the overall goal, was to make this bass line very stable and very reliable. You always got your phone, it's always there. You know, when I was a kid, like if I wanted to go somewhere I hadn't been before and I was on my own, it was like MapQuest or Google Maps. Like I had to look up where I was going before that. And now you don't have to. You just go and you figure it out on your way, or you like put in the directions when you're in the car or whatever. And so this bass line was meant to sort of mirror the way that phones are like always there and always good to go, or like that Apple thing, like it just works. And so it's meant to be stable and reassuring until the bridge. And in the bridge, the idea with the bridge was to shake things up very much, because we all know that, you know, phones are not just this wonderful, stable, awesome, reassuring thing. They're also like contributing to lots of mental struggles for people, and Facebook's like destroying Western democracy and all that ridiculous. And they're like spying on us, and like phones pick up super high frequencies from TVs, and they like know when you're watching their ads, and they know when you're standing in front of their products at the grocery store and stuff. So there's like this whole darker level to it. So the bass line mirrors all of that. The bass line is stable. That's always there for you. But then in the bridge, we look under the covers of this situation. We come out of this nice, stable drum and bass thing. And suddenly, everything is tossed up in the air. Even the time signature. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Right? Completely different. Everything is completely shifted under your feet. And then the other part of that is I wanted to make the bridge something that was surprising on first listen, but becomes more familiar and actually kind of inevitable on multiple listens, which is, I think, a lovely songwriting technique, but also mirrors the way that, like, it's kind of always there. Like the surveillance capitalism of phones is like always in your pocket, and there's really no escaping it. So when you first find out about it, it may be very like, whoa, this is crazy. Like Edward Snowden just revealed that the NSA is spying on all of us. And then it's, you know, what have we done about that? Like we all still have our phones. We're not doing anything about this. So in that way, this song sort of alternates between these extremes of like very comfortable and stable. And when you hear the whole album later in the year, you'll find that this is one of the most like samey throughout the entire song of the entire album. So it's got those two extremes of like very comfortable and stable, and then in the bridge it's like like all the chords have changed. The key center is sort of non-existent in the bridge. The time signature changes, like the vocal rhythms change. Let's just listen coming out of that chorus into the bridge.
I could give it up. I could give up. I could give it up. Can't think straight. Gotta check, I gotta. Can't look away. I should give it up.
It's meant to be hectic. The bass becomes syncopated. It's not reliable anymore. The vocal The rhythm changes up. It becomes much more, I actually don't know a good word for this. Not necessarily syncopated, but just like less reliable. It's not landing on the downbeats. It's like sort of responding to this situation. And the idea was just to make a bridge that immediately is very hectic, and then on multiple listens becomes less hectic. Anyway, let's jump. That was sort of a tangent about the bass. Let's jump back to the start of the song.
What was that you said? I didn't hear it.
If you watched my Learning Stuff videos saving the chords for the chorus, you'll know that this is a technique that I've talked about and is very well established in pop music especially. Because remember, I'm using pop like structures and ideas and theories on addictiveness to try to make this song like meta in that way. Like it's meant to use those in a way that's commenting on them. And so saving the chord for the chorus is a songwriting technique that is meant to feature the vocal very prominently and then deliver a big chorus in the way that someone like Max Martin is like, why doesn't the song have a big chorus? Let's make a big chorus. And so when you save the chord for the chorus, in a song you've got vocals, effects, leads, chords, bass, and drums. There's 6 elements of a song. This song actually has no effects in it. It's got a white noise thing, but I included it with the drums, I think. So it's got 5. It's got no effects. Vocals, leads, chords, bass, and drums. Now the leads and the chords take up space that usually the vocal is also occupying. And so the chords and the leads always will conflict with the vocal. And so to feature the vocal more prominently in a typical pop song, there may be very few leads in the verse or none at all. And then also the chord doesn't happen because the chord fills up so much space. It doesn't happen until the chorus. So in the verse, it's just bass and drums and vocals. And the idea there is to just feature the vocal. And that's just another addictive pop rating thing.
What was that you said? I didn't hear it. I was in my head and in my mirror. Don't get upset. Tell me what I missed. I'll be right with you when I'm done with this.
Okay, so you can see in the second half of the verse, I do give a little bit of leads. We have this thing come in. Love that sound. And then we also get sort of this riser thing and this sparkly, just distorted effect background thing, just for a little bit of like lead up into the chorus. And of course, this riser here is the one from the intro. That riser actually, I'll just play the one from the intro, this guy. That riser is this lead. And what I've done is I put a really long reverb tail on it and bounced it to audio and then cut just the reverb tail and reversed it. And so you kind of have like an anticipation of the first lead in the reverb tail. That helps tie those two sounds together. That's just a production trick. I suppose, I mean, at a certain point, there are songwriting tricks that I'm using because I think they're good songwriting tricks. And where exactly that crosses over into like the meta meaning of this song, where I'm like, this is a trick that I know that works. But basically, like, if you're in want of a sound in a song, maybe a riser or some effects in the background or a little click or something, just a little like a little sparkle in the song. I think that, you know, if you're most of the way through making the song and a lot of those elements are already created to make the song, you just need a couple little things. The best place to go, rather than making a new sound, is to mine sounds that already exist and twist those up, because whether we notice it consciously or not, I feel like it ties the song together. So rather than creating new elements, I think that you can mine ones that already exist. Here's a little thing in the drums just before the chorus. That's another songwriting trick. Basically, I think I'm just high passing the drums here. Yeah.
When I'm done with this,
so I'm just taking away And then there's a second layer of drums in the chorus. I did a podcast interview a little while ago where I broke down some of the song, and I said that this guy here, this like bongo sound, that being a thing that I add to the drums reminds me of Super Mario, because when you get on Yoshi's back, the music changes, but the only thing that changes is they add a little bongo. And it sounds like, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to sound like riding on a horse or something. But that's, yeah, sort of how I level up the drums. Because in the chorus, you want to level things up, obviously. That's like another one of those addictive songwriting tricks. And you can hear the chord and the lead really come back in the chorus. The bass gets more distortion, another level. We add a layer of drums. Let's listen to the production going into the chorus here. And that is the chorus. So things kind of level up. I did that trick where you save the chord for the chorus, and that's another one of those things that's, of course, you know, to make the song more addictive, because it's just like a TikTok, you know, it starts and what you expect in 60 seconds or less is some kind of psychological payoff, which is why, you know, you start the song with the chorus, and then you get to the verse.
What was that you said?
And then when you get to the chorus, it's bigger.
I was just on my phone.
And like there's a big white noise hit there and everything. Like the idea is to make this thing hit fast, get to the point, and then hit the chorus really quick. I'll just jump back because I was talking about form, and I'll just talk about the form real quick. This is the typical pop song format. This was another thing that I definitely did very intentionally, to be like, I want to make a song that is addictive in the way that songs are meant to be addictive. And so it's like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And then I think there's a victory lap second chorus there. But we have intro, verse,
You said I didn't hear it
chorus.
on my phone. Not addicted.
After the chorus, there's a little pre-chorus, actually. Or sorry, a post-chorus.
I could give it up. I could give it. I could give it up. I could give it.
Who wants to guess what the title of the song is? Oh, that's right. You all know it because I said I could give it up in the chorus over and over and over and over again, which is another pop songwriting.
I could give it up. I could give it.
But that's beside the point, because the form, intro, verse, chorus, little post-chorus. After the post-chorus is second verse.
Give it.
There's a little break, actually, to mirror the intro, to make them symmetrical. So intro, verse, chorus, intro, verse,
Did you hear the news? Did you see that?
chorus.
My phone. Not addicted to this.
And that's when things shake up and we go,
I could give it up. Can't think straight. Gotta check, I gotta.
after the bridge, we come seamlessly back into a chorus. We have a down chorus where I've taken things out to give contrast.
I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll.
The thing about this particular chorus is that the production is the same as the verse, but you have the chorus basically over it. And that's sort of the beauty of taking the same chord progression in the verse and chorus, is that you can switch up the production between verse and chorus to create extra contrast.
I can give it up.
Yeah, so chorus, another chorus. Big victory lap chorus where we have, of course, the lead from the verses. I think we have everything in the last chorus.
I'll be right with you.
There's the lead from the verse, and we get that again in this last chorus. Right, every lead at once. I don't know if that's the best songwriting. I feel like the end of a song, if it has sort of everything floating around and all the details are in some way audible or work together, it creates a big sort of fanfare at the end. And then at the end of the chorus, we drop out because it's the end of the song. We want to indicate that.
I could give it up. I could give it. I was just on my phone. Told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone.
At great expense, once I had recorded all these vocals and had the song done, I think done, sometime last year, I decided that I would work with a vocal coach, Marla Joy, and she's helping me learn to sing, obviously. But specifically, like, had her vocal produce me while I was recording these vocals. And this was one instance, like this last little I could give it up at the end.
I could give it.
Was one from my original vocals. So, like, you know, I redid all the vocals with Marla, and then I just liked the way this one sounded.
I could give it.
So it wasn't supervised, but I still like it. What else is happening in this song? Oh, I should have written down the chords for the bridge here.
I could give it up. Can't think straight.
The chords for the bridge, I actually don't remember completely offhand, but the idea was just to jump away. So the first chord is a full tritone away. It's the farthest you can get in an octave. An octave is 12 semitones from tonic to tonic. There's 12 different notes. And the farthest you can get away then is 6, because that's in the middle between the two tonics. So I went a tritone away, and then it sort of falls chromatically. So this particular chord progression, I'll mute the vocals. This particular chord progression is one that is from a completely different style of writing chord progressions than typical, like, European, Western, like Beatles-centric classical music influenced pop music with typical Western harmony. This is the sort of thing where the chords are moving in a modern, unconventional way. And I did that intentionally because I wanted the bridge to be disorienting. And so I used a different style of writing chords. So the idea, if you listen to the bass specifically, you can hear it really well. You'll hear the chromatic motion in the bass of the chord progression, which is what it's based on. And then basically the idea was to end up on the dominant, the 5th note of the scale, because that's the one that leads most strongly back to the tonic, which we then do.
I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll.
Yeah. That's kind of the idea with the song. Make it as addictive as possible. Things like the millennial whoop, things like the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus form. I'm blanking. Repeating the chord, or repeating the title in the chorus, using just the vocal, drum, and bass in the verses to highlight the vocal. Those sorts of things, those little tricks that you pick up writing songs from other people and that you notice, those were the things that I was really trying to use in this song. This was the one song on the album where I was like, I'm just going to lean into that stuff. You'll hear, like, with the next few singles and then on the rest of the album, like, this is easily the most conventional song on the album. Like, by 100 miles, this is the most conventional song on the album. The other ones have different forms. Some of them still use this form just because, you know, it is effective. Why not? But we've got a lot of different stuff happening on this album. But this was the one where I really wanted to lean in and say, like, it's about phone addiction and tech addiction. Let's take those addictive little songwriting tricks that people use to make the songs. And so I've come to think that this song, while it's clearly about phone addiction and even in a more broad sense, if you were to sort of zoom out, is about addiction in general. You know, it could be coffee. It could be anything that we've normalized as a society that you can get addicted to, which is honestly basically anything. And to make the songwriting parallel that. But if you zoom out even further, I've been thinking about this song more as one that is about just how capitalism specifically has pitted us all, not necessarily against each other, but driven us to think of ourselves first and kind of only. And like it seeps down to every level. Like there's corruption at every level, corruption in the sense of like trying to put yourself ahead, trying to just get ahead, you know, just trying to eke your way forward in life. And so like we do these things where we're like, you know, songwriting has been a lot of different things over human history. It's not always about trying to get the most royalties and trying to get the most radio airplay. And it's become, I think, because of capitalism, about that. Because, and it makes us do things like try to find a song format that hits hard and gets to the point quick and that's catchy and all these things. And I think that it's very toxic to our art. And obviously not everyone does that. And maybe not even everyone thinks that, but I think that at some level, like if you go to LA and do a pop songwriting session with some writers, the idea is to make something that's going to get played. And everyone's like collecting little tricks that help it get played. Like, what playlist are we aiming for? Aiming for those things, like trying to craft your art around a capitalist goal is kind of the thing. Anyway, I'm going to hop off my soapbox. You get the idea. I think that it's gross that we write songs specifically for capitalist ends. And so I use the specific addictive capitalist tricks that people use to make their songs addictive to try to make this song more addictive to have a comment on that. Anyway, oof, I lost like 6 viewers talking about that. Let's hop over to the video. I'm going to play the video through and I'm going to talk about, I got some visual aids over here so we can talk about sort of what went into the video. Okay, so before I got the video commissioned, I came up with the idea. I like to direct concepts for my stuff. And so the concept of the video was, hey, like we've got the artwork. Oh, I didn't get the bloody artwork. I'll pull up the artwork real quick just for posterity. What do we got here? There it is. Artwork. We had artwork for the album. And then when I had this song, I was like, oh, I want to redo the artwork. So I've got some scrapped artwork sitting on my hard drive somewhere. But this is the artwork that I came up with on the streetcar back when we could go outside and it was safe to be on the streetcar. And the idea was just like, what if we did like a cartoony 1930s phone beating my guy up? And so I found a guy who could do sort of a version of that 90s or the 1930s artwork. We did a thing. There's lots of little details here. He added the tweet and the like and the follower and the Instagram thing. A little dirt in the back is real cute. Made him kind of grizzled looking. We gave him a tattoo that says Mom. I thought that was cute. A little brick phone, one of the ones from the 80s. And then for the video, I thought like we've got such a strong concept for the artwork. Why don't we take this character and just make a little world and he can chase me around. And I would love to find an animator who like can do a few styles so we could do like a multiverse thing. And we're sort of doing hopping through a bunch of different worlds. So the phone basically it's a revenge tale. I was thinking of the very first Pixar short. Maybe I could find that real quick. I was thinking of this very early Pixar short with a bee and yeah, Wally Bee. Here we go. And what they were doing, Pixar used to be a computer company before it was an animation company. They were building the computers that they used. And so they wanted to show off what they could do with their computers. And so they built this forest world. And they were just going to sort of move around the world and show it off. And then one of the guys working there who was a Disney like ex-employee said, hey, I think this would be stronger if we gave it some story. So what they did is they created this character, wakes up in the forest, and a bee flies over to him. And he tricks the bee and runs off, and it becomes sort of a revenge tale. And just by adding a tiny little bit of plot, it becomes so much stronger. So let's watch this for a second. This is one of the big influences. Just to give it a simple plot. Points, runs, bee's grumpy. Hey, I've been tricked. I'm gonna get revenge. Well, I guess we'll finish it. What the hell, right? That was the very first short ever by Pixar. Exciting, right? That used to be on a local children's TV channel called YTV that I used to watch. That was like a bumper between shows. So the idea with the video was, we've got this phone character who's this big grizzled, like, what's his motivation? Like, why is he angry? And the first thing that I thought of was, well, he's being used all the time. Like, he's just overused and he's grumpy and, you know, while he's being scrolled, that's like his face. So he's going to get angry and he's going to chase me around seeking revenge. So let's just run through the video chronologically and I'll point out stuff as we go. Boom, right off the bat. This is a play on this. Artwork from my Paperman EP. I'll make this smaller. I'll make this smaller too. The Paperman EP, here we go. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff here. Obviously sitting on the stoop, there's the boombox and the fire hydrant, and the tree looks the same. It's all the same thing. And that goes back even further to my New Laces EP from 2016, where we have the boombox back here and the fire hydrant down here. And then the trees were different then. That's fine. So that's where this stuff comes from. And I was very much like Grover Tunes, like, here's a bunch of my past artwork and stuff. Like, let's work a bunch of it in, but let's give them ridiculous looking faces. Let's amp up the wildness of this video a little. There's the phone. Right off the bat, he's getting poked in the eye. Completely oblivious, right? Just having a great old time. See him getting angry right off the bat, turning red. You know, he's got the little star, like this is causing him actual pain.
What was that you said? I didn't hear it.
I don't know. I talked to Mike Grover about this last weekend. We did a live stream, and I asked him about this, and he said he didn't necessarily do it intentionally. Animation's very expensive, so with this video, like we had a $5,000 Canadian dollar budget for this video, and so that's not a lot for animation. So it's kind of like a lyric video, but it's a little more souped up. We gave it some plot. Mostly for budget reasons, it maintained like sort of a low-key lyric video thing. So I asked him if he did this on purpose necessarily to portray a message, or if it was a subconscious thing, and he said it was just a subconscious thing, or maybe just to save budget and keep the background moving. But I really love that the background here completely fades away when we get into the verse, like not paying attention to anything at all, right? Just like tunes everything out completely.
What was that you said? Didn't hear it. I was in my head and in my mirror.
Which completely parallels the lyrics, and then also he's paralleled the lyrics here with an actual mirror of the word mirror. A lot of fun, right?
Don't get upset. Tell me what I missed. I'll be right with you when I'm done with this.
Phone comes to life. All right, now we're getting into the artwork. This is the New Laces EP cover. Let's just scroll through this real quick. Boombox, right? Blimp. We got the blimp. We got the pixel clouds in the background and the city. There's the ice cream cone. Oh, geez. There's the Game Boy in the background. There's a red shoe, which is from the actual New Laces. Sorry, this is the cover for Clear. I always confuse those, which was a single from my New Laces EP. And this is the cover for the actual New Laces EP, where he's driving a big red shoe out of the city on vacation. So anyway, there's the shoe there in the background. Going back one step, we got the pencil. Oh, God. So sensitive. We got the pencil as a building there. And then we cycle back to the boombox. So that's probably one big circle in the background. Yeah, so that's that. We just thought that like a sort of, is it the movie Big with Tom Hanks where he like plays the piano on the floor? We wanted to have some kind of music world, and I think he delivered here. I didn't really give a super specific direction on this one, just like something that's maybe they're running across a piano and the keys are lighting up or something. This, I mentioned this in that shorter version that I had up. Scooby-Doo, boom. So, oh Christ. Let's just take a look at this scene real quick. This is clearly, like, look at all the stuff. There's like a wheel, the chandelier, the candelabra here, and the vase, and the clock, and the door, and the color, and the red carpet, and everything. The little red chair over here. Like, it's this. This is the scene. There's the wheel, and the chandelier, and the door, and the red carpet, and the color, and the grandfather clock. It's this scene. And I really love that one because it's such an animation trope. Like, if you just search it up, there are compilations of like lots and lots of different cartoons doing the same thing. Here's South Park and some other stuff. There are lots of cartoons that do this exact. There's Charlie Brown, other Scooby-Doo episodes. So it's such an animation trope. Like this, lots of doorways in a hall, and the characters are running through. And I wanted to use this one because it, like, to save budget, one of the things we wanted to do was have a bunch of different worlds sort of presented in the first two verses. And then towards the end of the song, we start to take the different versions of the characters and the different backgrounds and mix and mash those up. And this is it's like the perfect animation trope to do that with, because we can just like the first time we have normal push and normal phone with some motion blur running through here. Right, simple, very simple version of this animation trope. But we'll see like in a little bit. Oh, there's a little, look at that, I didn't even notice that, a little Tetris game over here. All the pixel art stuff, because the clouds are Tetris pieces. Just in case you didn't notice that, these clouds up here are Tetris pieces, all of them. So we put a little Tetris thing in there. Didn't even notice that. This will make more sense later. There is not a cloud world in our thing, but this, keep an eye out for this unicorn in future stuff. That's a reference to something that hasn't been put out yet for the album. But then the pixel clouds, obviously. And the sun is just for fun. Ah, yes. This 1930s. This was very much based on Felix the Cat. That sort of style. Lots of fun stuff on the graves. So rest in peace. Pusher. This was actually started as a Taylor Swift reference. Hey, Yordi, thanks for saying so. I hope that I can offer some more insight into the song here. And stick around for the album, too, because there's lots of fun stuff coming up. And thanks for watching this. So anyway, back to the gravestone. Pusher here. This started as a Taylor Swift reference because around the time I came up with the idea for this, like, she did that thing that was like, there's like a break in one of her songs, and it's like, what happened to the old Taylor? She's dead. I killed her. And I just wanted to kind of play on that. There's an Ariana Grande reference in one of my songs later, too, for the album that people may or may not pick up on. The house here, this is another reference to something that's going to happen later in the album. Actually with the next single, so keep your eyes peeled for house-related content. But anyway, this was supposed to be like, old Pusher's dead, I killed him, because I'm doing a slightly different style of music now. I just thought it was so cheesy and goofy. And then Future Bass, I used to make Future Bass, but it's been dead since 2016. Capitalism, fuck capitalism. And then everything else is just good fun. A dead guy, there's a little devil back there, so cute. And then we're back at the tree. Grover Tunes, like, check out his website. Just search up Grover Tunes, GroverToons. He does like a lot of mixed media stuff, and he does a lot of commercial work. But that was like the main reason I went with him. We put up a thing on Creative Commission, which is like you post about, like, I have this idea for a video and I've got this budget, and then people apply with their reels. And so he applied for this, and the thing that basically drew me to him most, not that his stuff isn't super fun and I love it, but was that he did a lot of sort of mixed media looking stuff. And so that was one thing, is like, let's have him just run across your desk. Add a little bit of motion on that. And then we're back. So that's the end of the course.
Did you hear the news? Did you see that link?
This is, I mean, maybe it makes perfect sense, but this is just a thing that, like, every time I see friends now, everyone's like, it's basically like a meme review. Like, did you see this one? Did you watch this TikTok? Like, did you hear about this news story? And like, everyone's always seen the same stuff because we're in the same IRL friend group. So we get, we're the same type of people. So we get served the same content online, because the way that technology like divides people by serving them such specific goddamn content. So that was kind of what that's about. Did you hear the news? Did you see that link?
Oh yeah, I heard that too. So glad we all agree.
And we only all agree because we're all like the same general type of person, and we're not fed content by these social media things, that these social media platforms that like opposes our worldview. And so they're like more entrenching us. That's a thing that I think is well understood.
We don't need to hang out anymore.
You can see right here. Okay, so this is pre-pandemic. So like the whole album, Stay at Home Pop Star, I came up with the idea in early 2019, like 2 full years ago. The whole idea is pre-pandemic. I know that it's going to be impossible to escape the fact that we're all stuck at home, and my album is called Stay at Home Pop Star. But we don't need to hang out anymore. We stay caught up all the time. It's so much better than before. The lyric is just meant to be like, we're already talking online. Like, I have a couple friends who aren't really on Facebook, and I only talk to them when I see them every couple years. But like, generally, like, we're all good on Zoom, and that's just sort of like, when you catch up with your friends in person, there's not a lot to talk about because you're already talking all the time. And also, you can see here, this is the first time we start to mash up the concept. Like, this guy scrolling on his phone, cycling through like this, we're starting to mash up the concepts here.
We don't need to hang
Almost halfway through the song.
out anymore. We stay caught up all the time. It's so much better than before. I was just on my phone.
Okay, we got a DeLorean here. I wanted to use a DeLorean initially for one of the videos on the song. We were going to rent a DeLorean because you could get one about an hour and a half from Toronto for $500 a day. But then we ended up doing a slightly different concept. There's still going to be a DeLorean, but it's not going to be a real one. But this is a reference to something that's not out yet. And obviously we've got this synthwave trope is such a well-established style. It seemed like too good not to use.
Not addicted to
The Pusher International billboard. I've been using that since January 2020, back before the whole pandemic thing started. This head just floating through, that's just a synthwave, sort of vaporwave type thing. But this is the Pusher International billboard. Pusher International is going to feature prominently in the coming years this album cycle and future album cycles of my work.
the scroll. I'm just being normal.
I guess I might as well address the chorus. It probably makes perfect sense, but I was just on my phone, not addicted to the scroll. I'm just being normal. That's that thing about addiction where you like isolate yourself. I'm just like, what's the problem? I'm not addicted to it. I could stop whenever I want. Like, it's just, this is perfectly normal behavior. That sort of like initial knee-jerk defensive reaction to be like, what's the problem? Like, I'm just on my phone, which comes up far too often. And hopefully that's relatable and not just me, but, or maybe hopefully it's not relatable and everyone else is healthy. So Pixel World, sort of a Super Mario homage, but then also, boombox, music note, pixel clouds. That's cute. We got the blimp, we got the cup, we got the ice cream cone. This is all reference to this stuff. paper art because I had an an EP called Paper Man, where everything was actually made of paper. These are little paper sculptures. I've got these in a box just behind me in my closet here. But like all these are physically existing. These are real things. I still have them. And then for the Paper Man EP, like we had a bunch of singles. This was the cover for... This was a variation on the first cover, which was for a song called Sober, featuring Soren Bryce. She's a fantastic singer. Her music is wonderful. She's incredibly underrated. I recommend checking her out. Anyway, so we had a bunch of singles, and for the album cover, what I wanted to do was take stuff from all the singles. So that there's a Pusher logo that we had, and there's the tree, and actually, if you zoom in here, like that's the cover for Sober. And this is the cover for BTDT that I just photoshopped on there. Got some records. The cover for BTDT is Carolyn Cole in a car driving off, and that's the car there. And then it's just on her desk. I think I have a fascination with people's workspaces. Like we've got Mike Grover's desk in this, and this is by a wonderful artist called Paper Amy, who you should check out. And these are all like just about this big, like the size of your finger. These little paper sculptures are so cool. And then here we got, some of the cutouts, like his shirt and pants and stuff would have been cut out from there, and little boombox and stuff. Oh, there's a couple there's a purple bird back here you can't really see. Oh, the box that says Sober. There's a sink for some album art we didn't end up using, but I think it's on my Instagram. Anyway, paper art. So we use paper art in the video. I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone. Again, that self-isolating thing of addiction.
Told you that I'm in control, I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up, I can give it up, I could give up, I could give it up.
All right, so going into the bridge, we did a quick recap of a bunch of worlds there real quick. Music world, cloud world, 1930s black and white world. We got the New Laces variation world. So just real quick, we've run through a bunch. Oh, and then this is just absurd. I wanted to have something that was kind of absurd, so we did a rotary phone chasing this like deconstructed cube version with legs. Love it. All right, and then on the official video, I got a number of comments about the bridge. Now, the bridge is unstable, and we listened to the bridge, and we talked about how I made it unstable musically. And so I wanted to mirror that with the video, and so we took... This is where we start to mash stuff up. And so we go right to the Scooby-Doo thing, and you're going to start to see more characters running through here.
Can't think straight, gotta check, I gotta, can't look away, I should give it, need an update, gotta check, I gotta.
Talk about like that scrolling thing where it's, the first time you go on TikTok and it's just like, whoa, super overwhelming and stuff. And, TikTok's going to be replaced by something that's even more overwhelming at first, but then we'll just adapt to that. The idea was just like, let's have too much stuff running through here, so it's a little difficult to keep up with, and it starts to be overwhelming to mirror the bridge.
Can't look away, I should give it, need an update, gotta check, I gotta, I should give it, I should give it up.
Some glitch effects, scrolling through some worlds. We've got normal guys in Pixel World here. We've got normal guy in Music World. We've got absurdist phone and cube pixel guy in the cloud world. Like, we're starting to take the characters and put them in the wrong worlds. Paper in the synthwave world, and synthwave in the 1930s world. So it's starting to get mashed up.
I was just on my...
Now, because this is a down chorus, as we discussed, it's the verse production with just bass and drums and vocals, but with the chorus vocals rather than the verse vocals. This is the calm before the storm, right? In any good bridge, you'll want to have some kind of like, little reprieve before you jump back into the intensity that is the big finale of the song. And so I didn't tell Mike to do this, I don't think. He just returned instinctively to this white background. Simple, before it goes way overboard. And he did a little variation where we zoom into the eye.
My phone, not addicted to the scroll, I'm just being normal. I can give it up, I can give it up.
Starts to pick up intensity, right? We've got it sped up.
I was just on my phone, told you that I'm in control, I can do this alone. I can give it up, I can give it up.
Starts to be a lot, and then as we land in the final chorus, TCO Gaming. Are you watching this in class? Before we go into the final chorus here, starts to be a little overwhelming, and this is where it really all remixes and mashes up in a big way. Cool. So that's the big remix. That's the big mashup part where everything happens at the same time. And then at the end, we complete the plot. Push is captured. Gains on him, grabs him. And then we do a little role reversal thing where instead of the phone being in your pocket, you're in the phone's pocket.
I was just on my phone, told you.
Can I zoom here? What do we have? Buy more stuff using money dollars. That was Mike's invention. We got the pixel clouds, basically just walking off into the sunset like a classic conclusion. Pusher guy, Push, we'll call him Push. Push is in the back pocket there, struggling a little bit, waving his arms. And then over here we got a billboard that says Lisa is watching. I actually can't read that, but it says something else underneath. Don't worry, this is in your best interest. I've never read that before. Lisa is a character who's going to come up later. I think there's just a mention of Lisa on this album at one point, but Lisa is a character who I've been working on since 2017 that I've had temporarily shelved, but will definitely come back. So it's also, it's an acronym, but it's also partially named after my girlfriend, whose last name is Lee, L-E-E.
Told you that I'm in control. I can do this alone.
And that's the video for I Could Give It Up. I do want to mention we got some Factor funding for this. Factor is a Canadian grant organization. It's I don't know if it's the best in the world, but it's definitely among the best, like a handful of the best arts grants organizations in the world. Canada has tremendous arts funding, which is incredible for me and a lot of other artists. Last year, they gave $25 million away to about a little more than 2,500 different artistic projects, both small artists and large artists and labels and music industry things and programs to help boost the arts across Canada. Factor is partially Canadian government funded and partially private broadcaster funded. So it's not strictly government, but it's a wonderful thing. They give away lots of money. They give away a lot of money relative to other countries, but not relative to like funding police or anything. They give away a lot of money to arts. I'm incredibly grateful for their help and their funding. They funded a number of my projects. They funded the Paperman and the new Laces EPs here, and they're funding me now, and I am very grateful for that, and I would love to make that known. Cool. That's that. That's the video. That's the song. I hope everyone enjoyed this. If you've got questions, you can drop them quick. I'll stick around for another couple minutes if there are any questions. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for dropping a couple comments down there. I'll be keeping an eye on those. I hope you're all enjoying this song. We've got a lot more stuff coming this year, and a lot of stuff in between. So there's, I think there's 12 songs on this album or something like that, and then skits. And then we're going to do some remixes by some artists that I'm very, very excited about. A few of those are done. There's a lot of different stuff on the album. And then in between, we're leaving, I think, 6 to 8 weeks roughly between each single, just to leave time for things to kind of percolate and for playlists to catch on or anything. But it also gives me time to make lots of social media content for TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. The learning stuff and the commie music and the face tubes and all that fun stuff. And then the tutorial stuff like the video breakdown and the song breakdown that I posted in the last week or so. So it gives me a lot of time between each song to kind of build things up and promote the album and talk about the music. And it's only going to get more exciting from this point on. I'm not seeing any questions. I know there's a bit of a lag. Stick around for another couple minutes. But that's it. That's the song. We got more stuff coming up. There's going to be a remix of this one coming soon. I'll announce that shortly. And then the next single has been teased a little bit in this video. I did an interview the other day with, thanks Adam. I did an interview the other day with Kat Bine. She did an interview called Cat Calls, and we talked for about an hour. And there's some stuff in there that's like background on my life and the town that I'm from and that sort of stuff. But there's also a short sneak preview, and it's on YouTube. It was on her Twitch, but it's on YouTube as well. There's a short sneak preview somewhere hidden in that hour of conversation of the next single. So I highly recommend checking out Kat's interview series. Oh, I need some water. Check out Cat Calls. Cat Calls is great. She's a tremendous journalist and interviewer. She has like the most ridiculous guests. Like she just did Maddie on, was like just a few interviews before me. She did one with Deadmau5 and Carl Cox, like in the same interview. She's done like Drolo and I'm blanking on some of them, but here, I want to promote Cat Calls. This is Cat Bine. So here are the more Kismet, Madian, Penny Wild, Alice in Wonderland, and Valentino Khan. Good times ahead. Wave Racer. If you're listening to me, you're probably familiar with Wave Racer. Four Color Zach. Like, look at these. Rusco. I feel tremendously honored to have been a part of this interview. Danny Days, Saint Punk. A lot of people. There's Deadmau5 and Carl Cox. Wookie, Vic Mensa. And she's just a tremendous interviewer, and I recommend checking them out if you like this kind of music. And then, obviously, if you listen to mine, somewhere in there is a teaser for the next single where we actually play the chorus and a little bit of what comes after the chorus in the next single, if that's the sort of thing you're looking for. Anyway, I'm not seeing any questions. So, I mean, if you have more questions or whatever, leave them in the comments. This lives on YouTube, so you can leave comments. I get notifications for those. If I missed anything or you have questions about anything, you can drop them there. But everyone, thanks so much for watching. Don't be a stranger. I'm all over the place, Instagram and TikTok, and I'm addicted to my phone. I don't know if you've noticed. But yeah, so I'm around if you want to send a message or whatever. But thanks everyone for watching. How do I do this? How does this work? Thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to head out and I will see you next time. Everyone have a good weekend. What day is it? Sunday? Have a good rest of your Sunday. And I'll be putting out Kami Music 4 soon. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night. Catch you later.